In this video, we're going to look at journal entries, specifically how to add journal entries, edit journal entries, both those that have been already posted to the GL and those that have not. And then the same thing with deleting or removing or voiding journal entries. So all journal entries are on the Manage Journal Entry page. You can get to that by going to Accounting, Financial, and then Manage Journal Entry. To put in a journal entry, you'd first select your association in the dropdown. Then underneath Page Actions, you'd hover over it and click on Add Entry. So here you're just going to fill in. You give it a memo of what you're trying to do. So in this case, let's just put in, we're going to put in a add cash to bank account. And we're just going to put in a simple one debit, one credit, but you can put in as many as you want. You can also put in a description if you want, but you just give it the association, the date that you want it to post, description, and then you enter in whatever debit and credit accounts that you want to put in there. So in this case, we're going to debit our operating checking account. We're going to put $1,000 in there. Hit tab. We're then going to credit that off to an equity account. Let's say capital contributions. It defaults already to 1,000. You notice that debits equal credits. So once that happens, you're then able to save and post it. So if debits did not equal credits, you would be able to save it, but you wouldn't be able to post it. So if this was 1,001, you notice the save and post button goes grayed out. So you can't actually post it to the GL until debits equal credits. So we're just going to go back to that. And now we're going to save and post. So we just put this transaction in. What if there's an oops? And instead of being $1,000, it should have been $10,000. In that case, no problem. It's real simple. As long as the period is still open, you can always go in and just edit it and say, well, that should not be 1,000, but it should be $10,000. And then the same thing for here, should be $10,000. Then just click Save and Post. So what's nice is in the GL, there's still going to be just one transaction for $10,000. It's not going to be a transaction for 1,000 and then another one for the difference of 9,000. Or you're not going to see one for 1,000, a reversal of the 1,000, and then a new one for 10,000. So it keeps your general ledger much cleaner by doing it this way. But again, that only applies as long as this period is open. So the same concept applies when deleting a journal entry. So as long as the period's open, again, let's say that this $10,000 deposit shouldn't have been in this association. It should have been in a different association. So you just made a mistake. Clicking delete at this point will actually just delete it. You hit the trash can delete, hit confirm, and now it's gone, just like it never actually happened. But now, what happens if that particular journal entry was from a prior period where the period's already closed? Let's say it was from December of last year or January last month, and January is already closed. In which case, you'll still have the trash can, but you won't be able to delete it. That'll actually do a void. So in that case, you will have the transaction in January, then you'll see a reversing void transaction in February, dated today's date. So that's the difference between deleting a transaction and voiding a transaction. Okay, one more point about journal entries is you may have seen that when we're putting one in, you can also have a couple of capabilities. You can make it an auto-reversing journal entry by checking this. So what that'll do, when I did that transaction of $1,000 into operating, and then $1,000 into the equity account, the auto-reversing checkbox, that would automatically reverse this one on the very first day of the next month. So on March 1st, it's going to automatically put a reversal transaction out there. This probably isn't the best example for why you would do it, but maybe a better one would be, let's say that you have a monthly landscaping bill that you haven't received yet, and you want to accrue that expense. So you would put that, accrue that expense, you would debit your expense, you'd credit a payable, and then next month it would automatically reverse it. So when the actual invoice did come in, then that would do a wash on that reversal transaction. The other thing here is a journal entry can be made recurring. So if you do have a need to do a recurring journal entry, you can do it on this recurring tab. You would just click enable recurring, and then you give it the recurrence pattern. Maybe it's a monthly transaction that you want to automatically post every month, or a weekly or a daily. So you can use this recurrence pattern to come up with any type of recurrence that you need. And here you're going to tell it when it starts, and over here you're going to tell it when it ends. Either it ends, it'll just keep going forever, or end it after, say, 10 occurrences or 9 occurrences, or end it on a specific date, maybe at the end of the year. So yeah, so if you check enable recurring, that'll actually make it a recurring journal entry. So that's actually a template. And then once this recurrence date comes, then the system's going to automatically post that for you. And that posting happens at night. So once this is saved, if you need to make any changes to that recurring journal entry, actually the template of that recurring journal entry, you would just go to Page Actions, and then the Manage Recurring Journal Entry page here will allow you to see all those recurring journal entry templates that you've established and make any changes to them. So that concludes the video on journal entries.